every Monday on Sarah's Country, Phil is going to join us to keep us up to date on those long-range forecasts that he is well known for with weatherwatch.co.nz, and so much more coming from rural weather very shortly with Farmers Weekly. So kicking off our very first Monday, because weather has been a huge topic over the summer, as it always is, but normally we're talking about a drought at this time of year. Phil Duncan joins us now. Kia ora, Phil. It's wonderful to have you part of Sarah's Country now, ongoing. I'm very, very excited to hear more about rural weather, but as I pointed out there, it's been a blimmin' wet summer and it's making some hindrance across the farming sector.
Yeah, hi Sarah. It's really exciting to be part of this each week, and I think this year's going to be pretty cool. Very, very interesting weather at the moment. Summer has not behaved the way we thought it would. There were some headlines way back in November talking about a big, long, hot, dry summer, and I think you and I even spoke about that probably not necessarily happening for everyone, because the Southern Ocean is very, very stormy at the moment, and the map behind me showing the big low pressure system that's coming into New Zealand over the next few days. And it's remarkable because it's basically a winter storm. That's Antarctica on the map. So we're talking about, low pressure between the South Island and Antarctica, dredging up unbelievably cold weather for this time of the year. Places will be 10 degrees below normal on Wednesday during the warmest point of the day. So our weird summer is continuing on.
And it's been a weird sort of year, though, 2020, on its record highs and lows. I mean, Dunedin was at the lowest sunshine hours it's ever recorded, and we've had the worst hail as ever recorded, as we pointed out with Tim Jones from Summerfruit New Zealand. Some people are enjoying it in terms of the biggest lambs that they've ever had going off to sale, and hot demand as grass is everywhere at this time of year. But cropping farmers are certainly wanting some sun to make the hay. So therefore, looking forward for the next sort of 10 days or out to the end of January, is there anything coming of the storm that we talk of as a wintry blast in the middle of summer?
Yeah, well, at the moment, the areas that are the driest, so northern and eastern areas of both main islands, a system like this one, in fact, let me just go to that's the Tuesday rain map, and Wednesday looks remarkably similar, but when it's driven like that, it means all the rain is falling on the west coast. The very top of the country is a long way away from it, and that's what we're seeing is northern and eastern areas. They are both missing out on the rain. So they're likely to remain fairly dry. There's a lot of high pressure to the north of the map and also out towards Australia. Those places, those highs are limiting the rainfall. In fact, as we're talking right now, cyclone Kimmy, which is approaching Queensland around the Cairns, Townsville area, normally we'd be watching that closely because that could be in an area where it might come down to New Zealand. But we've got this big area of high pressure. It's off the screen of this map, sort of between the top of our screen here and Australia, northern Australia. And that's the invisible belt that's blocking the rainmakers. And I don't really see that changing for the next couple of weeks. There'll be showers around northern New Zealand, but when you've got a forecast like that with all these windy westerlies, it means places like Nelson, Marlborough, Canterbury, Waited Upper, Hawke's Bay, Gisborne, Bay of Plenty, Coromandel, Northland, Auckland, which I sound like Radio New Zealand when they read out the weather. But all those places will be missing out on a lot of rain. They'll be drier than average for the next week or so ahead. So I think January will remain drier than average for those areas, while Southland, Otago, and the West Coast will lean the other way. Or maybe not coastal Otago, but Western Otago should get a bit of rain as well.
Yeah, and certainly we don't want any more through central Otago from the way that it's been hitting at a terrible time for right in the middle of harvest. And so it's really, looking at a picture there, the picture doesn't tell 1,000 words all the time, does it?
No, I mean, when you look at a map like that one, what you'll see with a lot of the mainstream media is they'll see a storm and they'll blanketly say the whole country's in for a storm. And what we've done at Rural Weather and Weather Watch is realised that every time we ran a big headline that said storm on the way, the whole country, both islands to be hit, you'll end up hearing from absolutely every single person that isn't hit by it. And that gave me an idea about 10 years ago that when a storm hits, we should dedicate just as much space, or at least a decent section of a news story, to say, by the way, if you live in all these areas, you're not going to get anything. And we do that because we don't want farmers to think this is going to be the rain event I've been wanting, and then they get 3 millimetres and they're completely baffled by that because all they've heard for 5 days beforehand was major storm on the way. So we try and break it down, and the reason why it is so complicated, the Southern Alps, it's the South Island. It breaks it all apart. It breaks the rain maps up. It breaks the wind up. It makes some areas wetter and drier. If we were flat like the Chatham Islands, our weather would be a lot like England's. So it'd be a lot easier to forecast if we had a flat country.
Absolutely. And weatherwatch.co.nz as well as ruralweather.co.nz, freshly launched, and I've been on there and it's very, very interesting. And the pictures that you have on there tell many words and different graphs and different ways of breaking things down. What's been the most exciting thing, Phil, of being able to get your hands in and dig deeper when it comes to rural weather as opposed to just Weather Watch?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Weather Watch is very much the communicator. So it's a news website. We're New Zealand's largest weather news website, and Weather Watch is all about kind of explaining what's going to happen with the high and the low, and what does that mean if you're traveling around the country. But what we found was that it was too general. We were saying things like, there's a storm coming on Tuesday and it'll affect these places, but we'd get farmer after farmer, grower after grower, asking, what does that mean for my specific part? Will I be getting those winds or not? And we realized that the only way to actually answer the question was to give them the maps they need. So with IBM, which is the power behind Weather Watch and Rural Weather for our very local data, what we decided to do was to create one of the questions we always get, which is, will it be windy? Will it be hot or cold? Will it be wet or dry? Those are basically the three main questions we get. And so we built it into graph form at Rural Weather, so that you can see the weather, have it come to life for you, so that it's not quite so much reading lots of numbers, instead it's a picture. And you just look at the picture for your very specific area, and it's very easy to toggle between rain and wind, fog and frost. And the whole point of it is to be honest with you, is to avoid getting questions. If I'm doing my job properly, I shouldn't be getting a lot of questions. And so since we launched Rural Weather, we just do not get the questions. I'll tell you one quick example of a question we get. We've got the southerly coming in like this one here. What's the wind chill going to be like at my property? And it used to be a bit of guesswork before, but now there's a wind chill calculator. So you just log into your farm wherever you are in Balfour or Gore or Wairau or wherever you are, and the wind chill in there every hour for the next 10 days out, and humidex, which is something we should really be talking about a lot more in summer, but lately we've been talking more about wind chills.
Super looking forward to doing this with you every Monday. Ruralweather.co.nz is the website to go and check out. And of course, that is Phil Duncan, who'll be joining us every Monday.